Hi there, I'm Rob Jennings from the Dyscalculia Network, and today I'm very pleased to be able to talk to Christian Voegeli, who's CEO of Dybuster, the founder and CEO who support and run the Calcularis software, which is specifically designed to help children who struggle with maths. So welcome, Christian.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Can you give us some background on why and how you decided to set up an app to help children with math difficulties?
Right. So, the original motivation, we first did a program to help kids with dyslexia, because my professor's son is dyslexic. Right. And we employ two things, on the background, AI to adapt to each user's needs, and in the front end, multisensory representations to make reading and writing more accessible for kids. And then we thought, how could we adapt this concept to kids with dyscalculia? And that's how we came up from that personal motivation to Calcularis.
Fantastic. Is the special needs education a big thing in Switzerland and Germany and Austria?
It's a big thing in Switzerland, and I'm proud to say that the Swiss school system takes quite good care of kids with difficulties. Unfortunately, in Germany and Austria, they're less fortunate.
Okay.
There's less support in the public system, at least in Germany and Austria, as opposed to.
Well, maybe with your software, that's changing. So
I hope so. I hope so.
Can you provide us a brief overview of how the app works?
Right. So the main thing or need that we address is that children have to automate going from cardinalities like, 3 fingers that I'm showing, to calling it 3, to knowing that the Arabic representation is a 3, and then to knowing or just like also feeling that 3 is larger than 2 and smaller than 5. So this going from representation has to be automated. And usually in kids without difficulties, the brain performs this automation automatically. But kids with dyscalculia, they struggle to automate, and their brain areas don't take over responsibility for this automation. And that's what we try to trigger, and also show to successfully being able to trigger this automation, neural automation of this switching between representations. And we address this by like saying the number word in every task, by showing the cardinality in every task, by showing the position on the number line to get this feeling of ordinality. So we use all these representations in every task, and that's one way of addressing this automation need. Thank you.
So when someone starts for the first time, is there a general assessment done on them so you can see how low and the areas of strengths and weaknesses?
Kind of. What we do, we actually kind of force every student to start in a number range from 0 to 10, because sometimes you oversee difficulties that already start with early skills. And then the system is able to adapt to each user's needs. So if you're if you're an adult and you do the system, it will determine within 15 minutes that the number range 0 to 10 is no difficulty for you, and it will advance you to the next number range. So it's like an implicit evaluation of a user's skills, and the less problems you have, the faster you advance. But we have everybody start at the beginning, because we know that you might overlook some of those difficulties, and the whole math is like it's like a brick wall. If the fundamentals are missing, then it doesn't do any good to go above. So we really
it's funny, in the network we liken it to a Jenga tower. So as you go up, you put more and more bricks, and so the foundation becomes really unstable.
Yes,
you're absolutely, I agree with you 100% that we have to get the foundation areas firm before we can move on to more advanced levels. How does the app differ to other apps aimed at supporting children with special needs?
Well, I think really, one special is really to focus on this automation. And the second thing that we really focus on is, explaining addition and subtraction as going forward and backward along the mental number line. Really strengthening the idea that addition is making things larger, or in cardinalities, or going on to the right number line, and subtraction is navigating back on that number line. So we really also have this, visual relationship, visual explanation of addition and subtraction all the time to convey that feeling of how numbers change with addition and subtraction. So really, addressing all this also visual processing of math a lot.
Yeah, no, I think the visuals are fantastic. It really does help when we're teaching maths. We noticed that you don't use any standard visuals like Cuisenaire rods or conventional dice patterns. Why is that? And do you think it might be confusing to a lot of programs are based on these methods of teaching?
Right. So, I mean, what we use is, for example, the Montessori colors for the ones place, tens place, and hundreds place as green, blue, and red for those positions. So there's some, taking that from those teachings. But we didn't do the Cuisenaire because we're a little bit hesitant to use the 100s table, because in that in that square table, the distance between, let's say, 47 and 48 is 1, and the distance between 47 and 57 is also 1.
Right.
And so we're hesitant, of course, our children have to understand the decimal system, and that's, the whole point of the decimal system, that you have relatively small differences that can make a big difference in value. But we're just hesitant to use it too early because, you first have to know that 48 is further away from 58 and from 47. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to use the Cuisenaire.
Okay. Do you intend your app to be used alongside tuition or as a standalone program?
No, we're really envisioning it to be used alongside tuition and hopefully, also specialized support. That's why the program or the application for the kids comes with a coaching tool for the parents or the special education needs teachers, where they can really see, where the difficulties of the kids are, or they can also observe if they worked efficiently or not, if they had, 20 minutes of learning, but actually were distracted for 10 minutes. So that, you have that additional information as parent or educator and can also relate to it in your teachings and in your instruction.
Brilliant. Okay. And then the final question is, what future developments do you have planned for the app or more apps?
Well, no, we have a lot of development planned. I mean, we want to extend it, first to older ages. That's one thing. And what we really also want to do is we want to turn it into an inclusive tool, which also supports kids without difficulties, because that's where we see the future of teaching, that kids with difficulties and without difficulties are in the same class. And the program or programs such as Calcularis can adapt to all the needs of a class, of a regular class, and can have some special or additional tasks for kids with difficulties, but allows others without to advance faster. So that there's no difference in the mean or in the tool that you give to kids with difficulties and without, but the tool can adapt to individual needs. So that's the next big step to make it.
When would that be ready to launch or to announce that?
Well,
when do you plan?
Our plans, unfortunately, we think it's still going to take 2 years for this to be implemented. We really will work on the more content for how higher grades till next summer, and then the year afterwards we want to add intelligence to really make it more adaptive, or make all the content just extra adaptive for kids with and without dyscalculia.
That's great. Thank you very much indeed for meeting us today and discussing your fantastic product.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.